Welcome back to another episode of Ruthless TV, where I break down Tyler Perry's The Oval scene by scene. Now, let's get into this video. The entire week, a lot of us thought that it was Kyle holding Lily's mouth, but we found out that it was Max and the other two stooges inside of her home trying to get into Donald's office. They let her know that there was an assassination attempt on Donald's life and that they needed her help. Almost immediately, Lily thinks that Bobby is the one who made the attempt, and I'm assuming that this is why they're there, to exonerate the blame and to prove that it's not Bobby who made the attempt. Lily lets them inside the office, and Blakely says that she needs to go in first because her face won't be recognized and she can check for camera surveillances. And I'm not sure how she's able to detect that there were no cameras in his office by just using her bare hands, but she was able to give the fellas an all clear and told them to come on inside. And while Max and Blakely were playing Inspector Gadget on the computer, Bobby tries to get in touch with General Martin. And moving on to scene number 2, the senior staff has been called in and Richard shows up and Sam has to fill him in on what's going on. Being the good friend that Sam is, he's asking Richard if he was able to find Barry. Richard told him that he was able to find Barry, but brainless Barry was unable to find the cult. Now, Barry's only been to the compound once, right? And when he did go, he was tied up, gagged, and blindfolded, so I'm not sure how he thought he was going to be able to give directions to his boys when they went to the compound. And Sam told Richard that he has to chill out because they've already got agents on the inside and they're looking into it, but Richard told him that if they're not going in with guns blazing, then they're not really doing anything and they don't know what's going on up there. And Sam advised him to just go to the local sheriff's office to see what can be done. Then we move on to another part of the White House where we see Victoria, who is shooketh. She's mad because Ellie is still in the White House holding press conferences about what happened. Now she decided to go and throw on her press conference dress and head on downstairs. So as Victoria's getting ready to head downstairs, we see Hunter crying to Donald that Ellie hasn't come in to see him yet. And Donald is strongly urging him to let Ellie do her job as press secretary and calm the nation down. But in this moment, Hunter is 7 years old and he needs his favorite toy to calm his nerves. It's just sickening and unsettling to witness this childlike behavior in a grown man who's unfortunately been put in a seat to be responsible for an entire country. And since Donald didn't agree to go and fetch Ellie, Hunter decided to go downstairs and get her for himself. They both make it downstairs to the press conference and Victoria decides to walk in and take over. She told the press that there was indeed a fatality, but wanted to inform their family first before releasing any names publicly. And Donald is still making every effort to try and stop Hunter from entering this press conference, but it was an epic fail. Hunter walked center stage and told everyone that everyone was fine, but he's not taking any questions. And I wonder what would happen if Hunter didn't get his hoo-ha. Like, he'd probably explode in disappointment. Just ridiculous. Now we're moving on to scene number 6. Now, I covered part of this scene in a video that I published on yesterday, and I brought up the fact that Dale's parents really needed to know what has happened to him. And lo and behold, Sharon did reach out to his parents, but they could care less, contrary to what I thought. I just knew that they'd be empathetic and caring and concerned, but nope, it was quite the opposite. Then Sharon had a blonde moment and asked Dale how he was doing, if he was okay. And I started to just turn my TV off. I mean, Sharon, he just got shot, girl, like 5 times. And you're asking if he's okay. That was kind of borderline dumb, but no, Sharon, I'm sure she was just concerned about him. But I'm really shocked that Dale is actually talking clearly, you know, and fully alert. I mean, he was even able to tell Kareem what had happened, which is also addressed in my video from yesterday. And I thought that Dale would barely be able to think or talk, but he's doing pretty good. And Kareem thinks that Kyle had something to do with it, and in this instance he's 100% correct. And because Kareem was asking Dale like 101 questions, Sharon told him that he needed to leave and that she'd be okay if she'd just get a ride home. Then Dale asked Sharon if she could stay, and she said yes, she would stay with him. Then we make it to the Oval Office, and they've made it through the press conference. Victoria wants Ellie fired, and of course Hunter refuses to fire her. Victoria calmly walks over to Hunter's concubine and tells her that she's dead. Now, First Lady's been making these idle threats since last season, so I'm having a hard time believing her. Hunter excuses Donald, and then he moves over and tries to have another round with Ellie. He tried to offer her a drink to get her in the mood. He told her that the only reason that she had the job to begin with is because of her body. He even tried to threaten Ellie and told her that if she didn't do what he wanted, that he'd turn her over to the First Lady. Now, Ellie pulled those balls out of her back pocket and told him that she'd decide when and if she wanted to sleep with him again. She said that she'd take her chances with the First Lady, and then she walked out. Then I guess Ellie went straight to her office because Donald is there making off-color jokes about how long it takes Hunter to be satisfied, and Donald is yet again trying to warn her to stay away from Hunter, but Ellie said that he wants her around, she makes him happy, and there's not really a whole lot that Donald can do about that. And Ellie is a little beside herself because she thinks that she's the only one that's dealing with the fact that the president was almost killed and that everyone else is taking it pretty lightly. Then in scene number 9, we see the first lady coming into Alan's office, and she told him to pull his pants down to see if he had any balls. Now, this is probably where Ellie got her balls from. She probably stole them from Alan. But if we go back to season 2, the first lady told Ellie she told Alan to keep Ellie in line by beating her ass, and this is the same advice that she's giving him right now. Listen, I'm so sorry for laughing, you guys, and I'm not going to start this over because listen, I have been having so much trouble with my stream service, and this is like my 3rd time trying to record this video, so I'm not going to start over. So I do apologize. Forgive my unprofessionalism, but look, I'm not starting over, okay? So First Lady told Alan that if he doesn't do it, she's going to send someone over that can do what he can't do. And she starts to say something else, but then Donald shows up, and of course she's poking fun at his sexuality and insulting him as she usually does. Donald comes in and he wants to know why Victoria was in his office, and Alan pretty much told him everything. A lot of things are now unfolding and everybody's dirty laundry is being hung out to dry, and they really can't trust anybody. There's nowhere to turn. Donald told him not to worry about it and to let him know if anything happens. Then we move on to the Halston residence, and Barry is being disrespectful to Nancy yet again. And Barry's a little concerned because he thinks that if he was trapped in the cult at the compound, that Nancy would not come looking for him because she wasn't there for Picky. And that was a little bit unfair because their situations are totally different. And I'm not taking up for Nancy or anything, or saying that what she did wasn't wrong, but those are just 2 totally different situations. And Nancy is surprised that Barry would go back after they did all that stuff to him, but she did also let him know that Ruth came to the hospital when he was there at St. Rhodes and that she wants to get out of the cult. In the next scene, we have Donald admitting to Kyle that he sent Vince to shoot Dale. Donald said that Kyle is only capable of loving him. He went on to tell Kyle that he didn't want to kill Dale, he just wanted him hurt. And Kyle said that he wanted to get back at Donald and bring harm to Lily, but he said that Lily is off limits. Isn't it amazing how these 2 sit and toy around with people's lives? Unbelievable. But Kyle is really upset and he leaves Donald's office, and Donald says that he'll be back when he calms down. Then we see Priscilla making it to the White House, and she runs into Sam before going upstairs. She wanted to know if Sam was okay, and Sam is more interested in knowing why she's at the White House to begin with. And of course, Priscilla is part of the senior staff, so she had to report. And Sam is really concerned about Priscilla being in the White House for her own safety, but Priscilla thinks that he wants to keep her away so that he can sleep with the First Lady again. And I really think that their marriage can be back on the mend once Priscilla gets over her anger. I mean, she's going through the different stages of emotions right now, and Sam has to give her room to do that. And Priscilla said the only way she's gonna leave is if Sam puts her out. We cut back to Kyle and Donald, and Kyle is letting Donald know that someone is trying to access the Pentagon from his home computer. Who else is at home? Nobody but Lily, right? So Donald warns Kyle that if he goes back to the hospital to see Dale, it's going to get worse for him. So I guess that was a warning for Kyle not to say anything. Donald is really itching for control over everybody, and it's a little troubling. But we do see here that it's actually Barnyard Blakely who's finally got access to Donald's computer, and she finds out that they've been set up. But she quickly put Martin in the clear and said that he wouldn't do that. Then Blakely and Max left, but Bobby said he's going to stick around and give Lily a little extra protection. He said he'd stay and camp out in the attic because once they found out that it was Lily trying to access the Pentagon, they're going to come looking for her. He told Lily to go back to bed and pretend to be asleep. He said that if anything goes down, he's coming out blazing. Now, y'all know that this is going to cause some trouble, right? And it's just not going to go over well. Then we move on to Alan and Ellie, and Ellie's on the phone when he comes in. He needs to desperately talk to Ellie, obviously, but Ellie threatened to get him fired. Alan didn't pay any attention. He went on to tell her exactly what Victoria told him. After he threatened to hit Ellie, Donald walks in and he can't believe what's going on. He told Ellie that Alan is much too good for her. He tried to warn her once again and told her that she was way in over her head. Then we cut back to Sam and Richard. Richard reveals to Sam that Priscilla went off on the First Lady and threatened to write a book. Richard then asked Sam where Jean was, and Sam told her that he didn't know. Sam wanted to know if Richard would help him to get Priscilla out of the White House and to keep her as far away from the First Lady as possible. I don't really know how much Richard took what Sam said to heart, because in the final scene, we see Priscilla paying First Lady a visit while she's in bed sleeping. End scene. If you like this video, go ahead and give it a thumbs up. I really appreciate it. I'd like to thank you for joining me on this episode of Ruthless TV, and I'll see you on the next one. Okay, guys, I've said this before. If you're a small Black-owned business and you'd like to get free advertisement right here on the channel, go ahead and shoot me an email. If you think that your product would be a great fit for the audience here, then shoot me an email and let me know about it. Of course, you're going to have to send a sample because I want to make sure that it's a good fit and also that it's of good quality. And also make sure that you have good, clean, professional photos like the ones that we're looking at here. Now, the Bella Skin Co. is owned by a 20-year-old Black entrepreneur, and she just opened her own Etsy shop, and she's selling vitamin C infused body scrubs with squalene, right? Now, before this, I had no idea what a squalene was, but apparently I've been learning it's the most stable form of vitamin C, and it makes your skin really soft and smooth to the touch. And she's starting out with these two products here. One of them is banana, and she also has strawberry shortcake. Now, even though I have my sample right here, I'm going to also purchase two more, one for my mom and one for my sister. And to show her more support, if you're a supporter of small Black-owned businesses, go ahead and click the link in the description and purchase some of these products so we can show this young lady some love. Thank you so much for listening, guys, and I'll talk to you later.